Back in 2020, Kamala Harris was one of 7 sitting senators who challenged Joe Biden for the Democratic presidential nomination. 4 years later, Harris is the de facto nominee, and all of those other senators have endorsed her campaign, with one exception, Bernie Sanders. Earlier this week, the independent Vermont senator and progressive icon told reporters on Capitol Hill, quote, "I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that she becomes president," end quote, but stopped short of formally endorsing her. The Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders joins me now. Senator, good to see you. I want to talk politics, but first I have to tell you, my dad in Toronto, 89-year-old father, had like a heart valve replacement surgery and wanted me to make sure you knew that the only thing he paid for in our single-payer universal health care system was parking.
Well, I would hope that everybody in this country hears that, because we remain the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people. A lot to be learned from the Canadians. Which
would be great if that could be on the next president's agenda. It would involve more than winning the White House, but it would be great if we could get to that point. Whatever model one wants to choose, they're all kind of better than ours. So what is it that you would like to get in order to get your endorsement? What sort of commitments are you looking for from Vice President Harris?
All right. Look, I'm going to do everything I can to defeat Donald Trump, clearly the most dangerous president in our history, somebody who doesn't believe in democracy, the right of women to control their own bodies. We don't talk about it enough. This guy thinks climate change is a hoax in the midst of us experiencing the warmest day on Earth on record. So he has got to be defeated. What I have worried about, as you know, Ali, for a long time, is it pains me as somebody who comes from a working class family that right now a majority of working class people support the Republicans who could care less about the needs of working families. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that the Democratic Party has over the decades turned its back on working people. And I think an important exception to that is Joe Biden. Joe has been the first president in American history to walk on a picket line, appointed a really strong Secretary of Labor, good people, National Labor Relations Board, and I think has put together the most progressive agenda and accomplishments of any president in modern history. But what I hope we can do in this campaign is let the working class of this country, white and black and Latino, understand that we understand the pain that they are experiencing. You know, we are looking at massive income and wealth inequality. Ali, the truth of the economy now, people on top are doing phenomenally well. 60% of our people live in paycheck to paycheck. We talked about healthcare. Our healthcare system is broken, dysfunctional. We got half of our elderly people trying to get by on $30,000 or less. We have a child care system totally broken. We have got to start paying attention to the needs of the working class of this country and stand up to powerful special interests who have enormous power, not only in the Republican Party, but I have to say in the Democratic Party as well.
So have you got I mean, clearly you've had this list because you can rhyme it off the top of your head. Are there particular commitments you want from Kamala Harris that you felt like you had from Joe Biden?
Well, as you know, President Biden supported a 100-day agenda, said that in the first 100 days, he would do things like expanding Social Security benefits. All right, 25% of our people, elderly people on Social Security, living on $15,000 a year. We can do that by lifting the cap on taxable income and extend the life of Social Security by 75 years. Medicare. Well, look, between you and me, as you well know, the Congress is not ready to move to Medicare for all, which I support. But you know what you could do and what the President Biden wants to do? Expand Medicare to cover dental, hearing, and vision. All right? We can raise the minimum wage to a living wage. We can cancel all student debt. We can put a cap on rising rents in this country and build millions of units of affordable housing. We could deal with the child care crisis. We can do those things and more and make it clear to the working class that we are prepared to take on the big money interests who have never had it so good. And by the way, in the midst of all this, Ali, we got to start talking about a corrupt political system as a result of Citizens United, where Elon Musk is now trying to buy the election for Trump, $45 million a month. Too many billionaires are controlling the political process. We got to end that. We got to overturn Citizens United and move to public funding of elections, in my view.
So there's nothing in anything you've said that would suggest that you'd spend a minute thinking about Donald Trump as a presidential candidate. So what's the difference between you working really hard to overcome Donald Trump's election as president and endorsing Kamala Harris?
Well, look, you know where I am right now? I'm in Manchester, New Hampshire. We just had a great town meeting here talking about the need to elect the vice president. We were in West Lebanon. I'm going to be in Bangor, Maine tomorrow, Portland, Maine. That's what I'm doing. But I think it's important for some of us to say, look, we know that there's a lot of big money in the Democratic Party. We want to make sure that the vice president is listening to the working class of this country, to progressives as well, and brings forth very specific ideas. These are not radical ideas. Expanding Medicare by lifting the cap, expanding Social Security, building housing. These are not radical ideas.
No.
And I would hope very much that we get some specificity.
Is that, in order to get that specificity, is that conversation happening in real time right now? Are you in that conversation with the vice president, or your people in the conversation with the vice president's campaign?
Well, I have talked to the vice president and look forward to speaking to her again in the near future. And yeah, that conversation is going on.
Got it. Talk to me about what that would do for you differently. In other words, you getting those assurances, you're going out there, you're telling people in all those places you just named that they've got to vote for the vice president. What will happen when you get the assurances you want, which I suspect you'll get?
I hope I do get them. I hope I do. Look, this country cannot, in my view, just tolerate Donald Trump's getting elected. So I am out there, I work hard, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that Harris is our next president. But I just am trying. You know, it pains me personally, again, coming from a working class background, that so many workers, especially white workers, are turning their backs on the Democratic Party. And I think we can bring them in if we give them an understanding. We know what's going on in their lives, the pain they're experiencing, and that we have an agenda so that their kids are not going to have a lower standard of living than they do, so that they can afford to go to a doctor, so that they can be easier for them to join a union, so that we raise the minimum wage. These are not radical ideas. And the Democratic Party has got to start addressing them at every level.
Do you feel that there's a little more energy in this race than there was a week ago?
Oh, absolutely. It seems to me, you were just discussing it a moment ago, getting 160,000 people on a Zoom call, that is, to say the least, pretty crazy. That is a way out. But yeah, I think there is a lot of energy, and I hope it can be maintained.
The forgotten party.
My fellow citizens,
it is strong.
It's my duty to report
the true problems of our nation.
Vigorously developed, this resource will be of great benefit.
Where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause.
I will be eternally grateful for your support.